Hi guys, I'm going to go deep with something that I've always struggled with ever since ever since I was dealt the cards that I was dealt with, ever since I was dealt the blow of losing my self-esteem to such a severe level, which led to attracting negative behaviour 24/7 and the damage, so that my ego could justify the difference between me and everyone else, so I could not be invisible, so that I could feel justified in my existence even because I was worse than everyone else. And as I was coming up, I was doing cold approach at the beginning. But as I was coming up, what was going on was I wasn't really doing the socialising thing, and I hadn't done it in school at all properly. I just sat there at school listening to everybody. So I would just listen, and give nothing out. But it wasn't listening from a sincere place that I've got lots of compassion and love. I've got so much that I can listen to you. It was coming from a needy place. So it was needy listening with me offering nothing, because I felt like I had no personality. And if I'm being really honest, I did have no personality. I had no structure. I had no positivity. All these kind of things I struggled with. So this listening was coming from a really bad place. And I could ignore it when I was in university because I didn't have to see people talking. And when I was doing my cold approach for the first few years of my life and I was just spending all my time at home, I could ignore it. But when it really struck home and I couldn't ignore it, I noticed something different that other people had than me. When I really was forced to see it, the painful lessons, I was forced to see the reality. The reality of the situation was when I went to Thailand. And when I went to Thailand, I could see other people as friends just chatting endlessly. It was like endless positivity. So someone would chat, the other person would listen, and he would chat and chat and chat and chat and chat. And I remember thinking so many times, how is this possible? I couldn't relate to it at all. Because I damaged myself so much, I was so disconnected from freedom from outcome, I was so disconnected from state, that I couldn't understand how in any social situation, someone could ramble on and on and on, so they'll stop their talk and someone would just listen. And they'd go and go and go for minutes, sometimes even hours. I just couldn't understand. It confused me, it hurt me, but it was the reality, and it was something that my RS needed to see, needed to focus on, in order for me to try and figure out how I could become like them, because I knew I could, it's just I was so disconnected, I didn't really understand how they were doing it. And even to this day, I'm being honest with you, I've kind of moved a long way, my state has improved, I've got my confidence up, but and I've narrowed the gap, so it's not much of a shock when I see people now. Actually, I'll tell you something. I was very bitter about it, especially in Thailand, and it happened. Thailand was in 2012, and it took me a long time to get out of this bitterness phase. And the only way to get out of it is for me to raise my level of consciousness. Much like Albert Einstein says, the only way out of a problem is to raise your level of consciousness. In order to fix a problem, in order to fix the problem that I couldn't talk, I had to raise my level of consciousness. So that's what I've done. So now I don't get bitter about it as much as I did. Perhaps there's a little tinge of bitterness still there, because I'm not exactly free-flowing like a normal person. And actually that's why I create my video, not bitterness, but just to point out that as I speak, our neighbour next door is a very nice lady called Doris Phyllis, is downstairs talking to my mum, and she reminded me of that. She reminded me of how it used to feel for me when other people could just talk, because that's what she's doing. She's just talking, and my mum's listening, and my mum's more of a listener, so she'll ask questions. But then she's going talk, and she can spend half an hour, 45 minutes, talk. But really why I want to create this video is not just to say, oh, there's a difference to me and her, but and it's not even to say that, oh, here's the facts, I can get like that, I know how to, but I really want to emphasize the point that my wish for humanity is that in the way that a normal person can, because what she's doing right now is not unusual. I've seen it in Thailand, I've seen it all the time, friends just talk, people can just talk, and it's brilliant, because what's going on is you're exchanging positivity, you're giving out, you're giving a whoosh, and it could be about anything. It could be non-linear conversations, it could be just vibe. That's what vibing is. Vibing is just non-linear conversations. You've got positive energy, you just go. It stops, you go. It stops, you go. You let it be awkward, you just keep going because there's so much positivity in you. So it's brilliant in that way. It's actually brilliant that humanity can do this, that we're social creatures, we love to talk to each other. But imagine a world where the same normal people that can just have so much love and compassion and good positivity towards each other, so they just want to chat. Imagine a world where they were like me, where I can get in the flow because I love confidence, I love looking about depression, I love learning from myself, I love learning about other people, I love learning about failure, I love learning about success, I love learning about people changing, I love being inspired by reading books, I love meditation because it raises my level of consciousness, I love exercise because it makes all the positive emotions go in my body and all kind of neurotransmitters at their optimal levels. I love all these things, I can talk about them, that's why I make these videos, that's why I write pages and pages of my diary, all these kind of things. What I'm trying to say is, imagine a world where all, or the majority, of the normal people who can have free-flowing love, who can talk and talk and talk, can talk about things that are actually what I consider important in order so you can maximize your potential and offer more value to the world. Because normal people are offering value to their friend in the moment when they're talking and sharing a positive emotion, just going, whoosh, 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 so much positivity. But if you look at the actual context of the conversation, it's to my mind, to my RAS mind at least, is how I think, it's boring. There's a conversation that's what's the word for it? There's a lot of breadth of conversation. There's a lot of, like vibing is just breadth and silly and keep the conversation light, which is nothing wrong with it in itself. But imagine if people were doing what I was doing, they can get into flow because they're on the road to mastery. They're on the road to mastery and becoming a better person so they can offer even more value. Imagine if they're doing that with their friends and they're talking, and the other person that's listening is just like, whoa, this person's going in flow, talking about this stuff. What can I learn from this person? Imagine it's both ways. So not just the person can do what I do and what Tyler does, which is talk about these passionate things about learning that stuff. Imagine the other way around, that you've got someone like that. The norm for normal people, the average, is for someone to do that, and then the person that's just listening and just asking the questions because they're genuinely curious or want to make the other person feel better is actually listening and actually fucking learning from the other person as the other person goes into flow, like myself, as I'm talking about what I'm learning, what I'm doing, or all these kind of things I'm passionate about. Imagine if that, and they were listening and they were learning. So even if the norm wasn't the norm, imagine if there was just more people going into flow and talking endlessly about things that actually matter in life, like happiness, the struggle, learning about yourself, all that kind of stuff. They were listening. If they were listening and learning, they would become like that. It would be amazing. But of course, that's not how the world is. It's just my different level of consciousness. I'm still a little bit bitter, but much less bitter, much less bitter about people that can talk and talk. It's just now that I've changed it to my story I told myself from my high level of consciousness is, okay, now I wish that humanity could, it can start positive change by not just giving positive emotions to that one friend, but having that mindset where you can get into flow talking about things that actually fucking matter. Because and when you can talk like that, it's because you are making a fucking difference. And you're making a difference. You can make a difference not just to one person, your friends. You can make a difference to thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people's lives. Because as you make a difference to 100,000 people's lives, that's 100,000 persons' lives that have improved for the next generation. They will do the same thing to the next 100,000, next 500,000, who do the same thing to the next 2 million, who will do the same thing to the next 10 million, who will do the same thing to the next 80 million, who will do the same thing to the next 2 billion, who will do the same thing to the next 6 billion. Bingo. That is how you fucking change the world. Not everyone can be a game changer. People are at the levels they're at, but I'm just making a point. It's my wish, it's my dream. I can only do the things to myself, but I can still wish that more of humanity would fucking step up and be free to talk about the things that actually fucking matter in life. So yeah.